Declaration Festival is a new festival. It's a partnership between 4 different organisations: the Health and Social Care Alliance, University of Strathclyde, NHS Health Scotland, and ourselves, the Mental Health Foundation. The concept that's kind of binding it all together is that there are 30 events, and each one tackles a different article in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Based on the success of things like the Mental Health Arts Festival and See Me being a human rights approach, what we try to do is look at public health in its broadest sense. So we are trying to combine the reach and power and emotional engagement of an arts festival with some of the discipline and influence and impact that conferences can have. So that's why it's a festival of ideas.
I think it's a great idea, the whole festival, because it brings different people from different communities together to talk about different issues. Like I was talking about detention, but then later on we're going to have people talking about like asylum seeker, and then we're going to have people talking about mental health, and it raises awareness, I think.
My main concern is about the treatment of rape complainers in rape trials, but that cuts across issues around mental health, because often the previous issues they're worried about is previous records of mental health being brought up in court. So I think it's helpful, this kind of event or festival, bringing together different issues and different organisations, because there's so many cross-cutting issues or links between them that it's helpful to explore, and it's particularly helpful to explore it through a human rights lens.
When you ask the question, the very broad question at the start, should people be free to think and believe as they do? Almost everybody in the room said yes. It's only when you look at specific kind of acute issues, something like the issue of same-sex marriage, that people can suddenly start to disagree quite passionately.
For me, this is something I'm really actually passionate about, because I know that obviously for a person to have mental health problems already, people feel discriminated against. But then when you're an asylum seeker, on top of that, there's the multiple layers of discrimination, the whole intersectionality. So not only are you being discriminated against because of your mental health, but because you come from a different country, because you're from a different religion, and because obviously you've got that label of being an asylum seeker, which I hate that label. And for those things to be multiplied, it's like, which one do you focus on? So it's really difficult. It's one thing that we're really trying to tackle, but it's really hard to get people to identify that actually they can make a difference.
I understand and I know that change doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, but for me to have that hope, I feel like, yes, I can do something. It may not happen tomorrow, but it will happen eventually.
What we're doing is we're just asking people to come up with a kind of short summary of one thing that they feel passionate about protecting in terms of the human right to health. And then we're playing with cut paper and collage and making a series of posters, and the posters will be collated together into an artist's book that will be delivered to the Scottish Parliament at the end of the festival.
Accessing that right to live well, that doesn't just sit within the third sector, it doesn't just sit within specific one condition type organisations, it also sits with statutory bodies, it sits with the third sector and with politicians as well. So the more broad debate that we can get on these types of issues, the more opportunity we've got to take the equality agenda forward.
Often people who are not getting the rights realised are the ones that know least about the opportunity to achieve those rights.
Yeah, I think that sort of sense we were just speaking about, it, that people feel they have no power, they have no influence, that things can't change for the better. And that's things like this kind of event, and just speaking to people, that's what the People's Health Movement is about. It's about getting people to just discuss these things, and there's amazing things that can happen from just having those kind of discussions.
What's been interesting so far is that I think health and human rights could be abstracted into something that's theorised or a concept, but actually this is about people's lived experience in everyday life. And these events are open, so we can have discussions and debates that are not restricted just to academia or just to policy, but actually about everyone and lived experience and engaging in that dialogue and debate.
It's a really lively, interactive, thought-provoking situation, and again, as I said earlier, I just feel really privileged to be a part of putting this on, because I gain an awful lot. There will never be enough to learn about an issue as important as this and issues around human rights.